Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. So it's Friday today, is it, Graham? Or Saturday? Friday. It's Friday. Christmas Day's on Sunday. And so I've got the turkey out of the freezer. I'm quite pleased we got this. It was €25. I don't think that's too bad. It's not a really big one, but it'll do us. Haven't poisoned a family yet after all these Christmases. Right, continuing the theme, which of course is my major theme, free speech. This morning, I have been listening to a YouTuber who supports and likes Meghan. The channel is called the Duchess of Success. And I don't know what her real name is, because it would seem that there's a big debate going on between Christopher Boozy, David Gilbert and other people on Twitter about the word doxing being misunderstood. Okay, I don't think I do misunderstand the word doxing. So I've been listening to this young lady. She's British. I have no idea what her real name is, and I have no wish to know. I will not attempt to seek out, and I'm sure none of you lovely guys will either, because that would be called doxing. She wants to support Meghan, and if I may say so, having listened to a couple of her lives this morning, she's articulate, she sounds very sweet. I don't agree with a lot of what she says, but the way she phrases it and she uses her free speech, I obviously haven't watched all of her lives, so I'm not aware of absolutely everything that she says, so I'm not endorsing her, but I'm certainly not criticising her. And I won't use the term sugar. I heard her use the term squaddies, or Markle Sparkles. Okay, it's not my cup of tea, but that's what she likes. She sounds really quite young to me, a lot younger than me, put it that way. And I defend her right to free speech, and I defend her right to love Meghan and look after Meghan and support Meghan. Absolutely. And I equally defend her right to her anonymity to the extent that she wants to share her identity with the rest of planet Earth on the internet, on the World Wide Web. Now, she's happy to put her voice out there. Great. She's not that I'm aware of. I mean, maybe she does put her real name out there. I don't know, because I'm not subscribed to her. I'm not a fan of that type of thing. Maybe she does put her real name out there, but I haven't investigated. That's the point. And if anybody were to investigate and she didn't want her real name out there, and they did that to her, I would be right behind her, defending her and saying how terrible that is. I also see on Twitter, especially on Chris Boozy's tweet feed, that there is this misapprehension that us who support the idea of the British monarchy being a great system, that we're right-wing. Hello, anybody out there who thinks that? I am left-wing, as I have said many times. I was not a fan of Donald Trump. I was a Ramona. We come in all shapes and sizes. This preconceived idea that people who support the British monarchy have to be right-wing, they have to be Caucasian, they have to be racist, is utter nonsense. It is utter nonsense. Now, I have made notes, and this one might be a bit longer, because I listened to, I think it was her latest podcast live. She talks about true love, and it was actually lovely to hear her talking about it. And it sounds to me like she hasn't found it yet, because she says, oh, when I do find it, I will settle for no less than true love. She believes Meghan and Harry are truly in love. I do not. I see that something there is terribly wrong, if she's watching this. Or anyone else who feels like that. I'm older than her. I'm not trying to be patronising. I would never say to a younger person, you've got to accept what I say because I'm older and I've been through a bit more life experience than you. But I am older, and I have seen a trick or two, and I identify things in Meghan's behaviour, in her body language, in her actions, in her conduct that are setting alarm bells off for me left, right and centre. I, like millions of others, watched Harry walk behind his mother's coffin and it broke my heart. I also am a Princess Diana diehard fan. But the monarchy is not a popularity contest. It is not an election. That's very much the point of it. It is a bloodline. Now, I think the majority of people get that and understand that, but there do seem to be a few people who are very misguided, and some of them seem to follow Chris Boozy, who don't seem to understand that. And this young lady, the Duchess of Success, doesn't seem to understand that. She makes reference a lot like it's a contest. Who got booed more? Who got cheered more? Who cares? It's a monarchy. You get what you get. You get the next in line. That is how it works. It's not the Princess Diaries. I'm going to have to refer to my notes to make sure I don't miss anything out, because I've taken a lot of time and trouble to listen to several hours of this young lady. So the true love, I agree with her. I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. I don't know that everybody does find it, but I did. Nearly 23 years ago now. She has no idea who I am. So, hello, my name's Fiona. I was once a fugitive. And my husband, who's been with me for 23 years, left everything behind to run away and be with me. And we've been together ever since. And that is true love. I mean, he'd spent years building up a flying club, and he had 5 aeroplanes and loads of members, and he was doing really well at Shoreham Airport, and he dumped the lot for me. And I hope I've never let him down. So I do believe in true love. What I see with Meghan and Harry is not true love. Would Meghan have married him if he'd been a bus man? Bin man? Because my old man has been a bin man. Would she have married him? Would she? Did it have anything to do with the prince title? Anyway, that's up for conjecture, isn't it? So I would no more support this young lady being doxxed than anybody else. Murky Meg chooses to use a tag, like Duchess of Success. She puts her voice out there. Wally's tag was Yankee Wally. She put her voice out there like the Duchess of Success. Why should any one of those 3 women, or anybody, be doxxed? And how can anybody justify it? As I've seen on Chris Boozy's Twitter, there are actually people who've tweeted, let's really dox them. Wow, you're really winning me over. Not. Whereas the Duchess of Success, I was able to listen to several hours of her because she sounds like a really nice girl. She also said she's leaving the UK because she feels it's toxic and it's racist. And I think she said she's going to go to Portugal. Well, take it from me. I've lived in lots of different countries. You're going to find prejudice, racism, nastiness. That is human nature. There's no secret magical island or magical country where everything is nice and everybody's nice. Trust me, you won't find it in Portugal any more than you will anywhere else. And that's not to diss Portugal. Portugal's a country like anywhere else. It has its problems. Believe me, I've lived in Portugal. I live in Spain now. I've lived in the UK. It's easy to get that in your mindset, or that Great Britain is Devil's Island. And I've fallen into that trap myself before because of social media, because of nasty comments I've seen on social media. I think if you feel like that, step away from social media for a bit and get out and meet some Brits and have fun. Join a tennis club, do something like that. Because prejudice exists absolutely everywhere. Well, there's no place that I know of. She also advised her followers not to give money to some GoFundMe, and I thought that was very responsible of her. Even it was something to do with fundraising to sue somebody for saying something, I don't know. But so I've done the leaving the UK. She talked a little bit about Paul Burrell. I think she was criticising him for having made money out of being Princess Diana's butler. Which, yes, he has, but I have read Paul's book, and it's really interesting, actually. It's not what you think. He's not spilling royal tea left, right and centre. He's talking a lot about his own life, his own experience, what it was like to work in the royal household, He worked for the Queen for 10 years, and then he worked for Princess Diana for 10 years. And for what it's worth, Paul's book is worth a read. I found it quite a page-turner, actually. Yeah, and don't fizz us all in a box. People have been trying to fit me in a box all my life. Good God, especially the Daily Mail have tried to fit me in a box. I'm just like a messy squiggle. I don't fit in anybody's box. Anyone else out there fit in the box? Because we're all different. We're all individuals. And I think when we get into the territory of generalisations and trying to fit each other into boxes, like all monarchists are white racists and all Meghan supporters are non-racist and lovely people, or all right-wing people are bad and all left-wing people are good, and vice versa. And that's coming back into play because people talk about algorithms and they talk about, what's the word they use? It's not diagnostics. It's some dire word that they talk about. Demographics, you know. Get knotted. We're human beings. We're not bloody demographics. We don't fit in boxes. We're all different shapes, sizes, colours, religions. We all have different preferences. So that's a very naive way of seeing things. She said she feels that like Meghan's bigger than Diana. That the whole world, if anything happened to Meghan, the whole world is watching, and it would be bigger than Diana. And that no, the world wasn't watching with Diana. Well, trust me, the world was watching with Diana. Very much the world was watching with Diana. Far, far more than with Meghan. Far, far more with Meghan. Diana was phenomenally popular. I don't think Meghan is phenomenally popular. That's just my opinion. Then she talks about the press publishing pictures of Charlotte and makes a big do about they all wore burgundy. I'm not even going to get into that. I mean, how pathetic. Oh, Meghan cried because she could only wear beige, and the royals are evil because they all wore the same colour to make... again, get knotted on that subject. I'm not interested. She also said that the royal family, she didn't use the word rule, she said that like they lord it over the Commonwealth, they are ruling, so it was along the lines of they are ruling the Commonwealth. No, they're not. It's a voluntary organisation. And they're not in charge of it. They're not bossing anyone around. The gold piano. Of course, the gold piano. So I actually looked up the gold piano. And as I suspected, guess what? Shocker, it's not made of gold. It's made of wood. And it's painted with gold leaf. It was Queen Victoria's. And I went on the Royal something Trust, where they can tell you all about the gold piano. The royal family do this a lot. They promote certain things. Now, in the days of Queen Victoria, they didn't have television and they didn't have the internet. I'm sure you know that. I think they were just about getting the telephone, weren't they? You know, Industrial Revolution. So what families typically did was they all got around the piano for a good old sing-song at night. So there was a big trade in pianos. And I suspect that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert thought, how can we help this new business that's just set up in London? Because the people, they'd done a runner from France, something to do with the French Revolution, I think. Anyway, that's another subject. Oh, I know what. Let's get them to make us a piano. And we'll tell everybody they made the Queen and Prince Albert a piano. And then everyone will want to buy a piano from them, and that'll help their trade. It's like Princess Diana wore largely, not always, but largely British fashion designers. So everyone will go, oh, that's why our current Princess of Wales does that. So everyone says, oh, I'm going to go and buy from that British fashion designer. They're helping to promote things. That is one of their tasks. So the gold piano, please look into it more before saying, oh, well, I wonder if King Charles will give his speech in front of the gold piano. I bloody hope he does. And as another example, this little ring I've got here doesn't look much. That's platinum and diamond. Okay, I didn't buy it. I inherited that from my mum. I'm looking after it until someone comes along who finger fits. None of us bought it. It's a family heirloom. My mum obviously got it from my dad, who got it from his dad, who got it from his dad. It was originally a tie pin. But just because it's a platinum and diamond ring, it's a family heirloom. Like a lot of the things that the Queen had, the Queen's passed, a lot of the things the royal family have and King Charles has, they're hand-me-downs, they're heirlooms. This is heritage. It's something to be celebrated. These people who were alive once upon a time, who were such master craftsmen. The fact that we can look back in history, back in time, and think, how did they cope before the internet? They probably had bloody wholesome lives in comparison to what's going on these days. And yes, I am blaming you, Sir Tim Berners-Lee. I love to go on about Sir Tim Berners-Lee because he's still alive and he's a bloody legend in my mind. Because if it wasn't for him and HTML, none of us would be on the internet. There'd be no YouTube, Google, Facebook. None of this would be going on. So yeah, it's all your fault, Sir Tim. And finally, now, she talked about this Duchess of Success. She talked a lot about how the royal family is funded and that the British taxpayer pay for them. So I just want to put her straight on that. And I'm going to read something out from a website and then I'm going to tell you where I got it from. What is the sovereign grant? It says, the sovereign grant is the annual funding mechanism of the monarchy that covers the work of the royal family in support of Her Majesty the Queen, including expenses to maintain official residences and workplaces. So it's about, let's say it's 100 million. Queen gives all that to the government. In exchange, the Queen surrenders the revenue of the Crown estate and in return, a small portion of it is given back for expenditure. This is outlined in the annual report of the Sovereign Grant, which is linked below. And I can put a link to the Sovereign Grant in the description of this. Now, Duchess of Success, where do you think I got all that information from? Because I wasn't actually clear about the Sovereign Grant until I read this website a couple of years ago. But it explains it really well. Where do you think I got that information from? I got it from the Sussex Royal website written by Harry and Meghan. Go and have a look under funding. It's as clear as a bell. The Crown properties generate revenue, about 100 million. Give it to the government and the government say you can have, I don't know, 15-30% back to cover the costs. Now the costs are largely an HR payroll for all the staff who are not millionaires, who are hardworking, for maintenance, for costs. It's not for the royal family to go, whoopee, let's piss it up at the taxpayer's expense. Right. Anyway, Duchess of Success, I hope you do enjoy living in Portugal and I hope you do find true love one day. I don't think you're going to find a happy ending with Harry and Meghan. But I do defend your right to free speech, as I do everybody's, whether they agree with me or not. And I come back to Voltaire. I disagree with every word you say, but I will defend your right to say it to the death. As always, I'm probably blowing into the wind on this one.